I identify as a college student at the University of South Florida. Here I am at work, hopefully graduating early this spring. I identify as a Jewish man. My father is Jewish, my grandmother is Jewish. I had a bar mitzvah when I was 13 years old, and I never had any issues identifying as a Jewish man. No one ever questioned it or anything like that. I identify as part African American, but when I would identify as an African American man, I would get ridiculed, it would be questioned, and what was at stake was my credibility and my likability. I am so proud to identify as an African American man because of my great uncle and my great grandfather. They are pioneers in African American history, and I'm proud to be related to them. And I want people to know about everything they did, all the contributions they made, all the history they made. And what's at stake is rewriting history. This presentation explores the dynamics of my family's racial identity. In 1996, my mother discovered our family's rich African American heritage. She was 25 years old. Macon, Georgia's library archived historical information about my mother's Uncle Lewis, a celebrated African American architect. On April 5, 1920, Uncle Lewis Persley became the first African American to register with the new State Board of Registered Architects. Mile markers throughout Georgia and Alabama memorialize his work. Robert Taylor and Lewis Persley founded the architecture firm Taylor and Persley. Mr. Taylor is recognized on a Black Heritage postage stamp. If Uncle Lewis was black, that means his full brother, Dr. Alonzo Persley, was also black. Dr. Alonzo Bond Persley graduated from the University of Michigan School of Medicine in 1915. Dr. Alonzo Bond Persley was my mother's grandfather, her father's father. My grandfather, Lieutenant Alonzo B. Persley Jr., never spoke of his black heritage and was basically a stereotypical racist white guy. My grandfather died from lung cancer when my mom was 23. I never met him. My mother learned of our ancestry 2 years after his death. In February 2018, the DNA company 23andMe used my mother's story for PR in the Washington Post. It went viral. And the internet trolls went crazy on the topic of DNA testing and racial identity. So when it comes to my racial identity and being accepted as whatever race I claim, the stakes are pretty high for myself, but much higher for my family. Even though my mother's father was typically racist, he was still half black. He also set historical records in the field of aviation as a test pilot in the 1960s. Because his father, Dr. Alonzo Bond Persley, was passing for white as a physician in Detroit, there are many African American victories yet to be claimed. My great grandfather was married to a white Irish Catholic woman, so claiming his African American identity publicly was literally life or death for him, and punishable by law at the time. Rewriting history is one of many stakes and claims crucial for my family's historical contribution and recognition. My mother and I are both proud of our African American heritage. Racist views, beliefs, and secrets prevented my mother from having an African American experience. It also prevented the unfair struggles that go hand in hand with being African American. We all gained white privilege when Doc Persley passed for white. These tensions about this topic and claiming this identity are very real and in much need of further exploration. Getting controversial DNA publicity about this story made it a trending social media craze, but the historical claims are lasting and significant facts to be reckoned with. Thank you.